Hey, it's another one of my streams, and yeah, we should be on not that camera. That's the camera. Yep, that's the one we should be on. Yeah, so it's gonna be another stream. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, I actually wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do for this stream. Like, I know I'm working on the game, but like, what do I want to do within working on the game? If that makes sense. Um, I just opened up RPG Maker and I realized I was making an adjustment to the previous game I had released. Should go play it. I just updated it. Now version 1.3. Yep, it's 1.3. Go check it out. Go play it. Um, it has a bunch of quality of life fixes. Yep, it's called Fiddle and the Maker's Trial. But that's not what we're doing today. We're not. I just finished updating it today. I wanted to make some changes to my previous game to make it a little bit more consistent with the game I'm working on now, and just to kind of bring some quality of life stuff to it. Since I started using plugins in the game I'm working on now, RPG Maker plugins, I decided that I'd go ahead and bring some of the absolute necessities plugins into my previous game, and that just involved some playtesting and making sure that everything kind of plugged in without any problems. So yeah, I was doing that earlier today, but that's done, and I've posted it on my itch.io page, along with a lot of great information about the next great project, which is the one that we're going to be working on today. So yeah, that's the plan. We can start off this stream just by kind of going over what I've done since the last stream. So let's swap cameras here over to, that's the, yep, I push F1 to switch cameras, and it also brings up the help menu. Okay, right, that's that's where we need to be. This is definitely new. We'll come back to that. So since last time, I have finished doing the tiles for the town. There's still a lot more work to do within the town, so I'm not going to say that the town itself is finished. However, just placing the actual, like laying out the town and putting in some details and stuff, I think that's all finished. Next is using events and to add NPCs, to add some more life to the world and stuff like that. And maybe I'll do some of that today. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, you can see, here's the whole town. You kind of see it laid out. I think last time we were kind of working on this corner here. So that corner got finished. I detailed all of the outskirts as well. And then also I built the interiors to every single building on here. Well, except for this one here. I didn't know what to do with it. I'm sure if I had spent some time thinking about what I could possibly do with it, I'd eventually come up with a solution. But I just decided to just leave it blank for now. It's marked as for sale, although there's no option to buy it in the game. So yeah, that's just that building there. So effectively, there's 7 buildings that the player can access. There's these 4 buildings here along the main street, I guess you could say. And then there's these 3 buildings here, which are accessed on the southern portion of the map. And yeah. What is there to say other than, yeah, you can kind of see the general layout of it here. So you can see that I've also kind of done some work to kind of imply where these roads go, the roads out of the town, where they go. So like, this was kind of coincidental last time where I had built up this cliff here, and I was like, oh, you know what? I wanted one of the levels to be a cave, so having this cliff kind of come up right here works. It kind of sort of implies that, oh, you're going into like a rocky area. And so, yeah, I kind of rolled with that. I realized that I should probably do that for like all of the areas. So like over here, it's not as explicit because I didn't have as much room to work with. I think here I had at least enough of a section to kind of give a general idea. Because the river is here, I really only had a very small amount of tiles to work with, but this is supposed to kind of imply that this is going to go to the forest level. And then if we go down here, this one's a little bit harder to work with, but I think it kind of gets the general idea across, is that this is going to the beach level. So yeah, that's the implication here. So yeah, all of that's been filled out. Like I said, I have one NPC here. I'll show her off in just a minute. I'm actually pretty proud of her, even though it's really, really simple. There's nothing complex about this NPC at all, but I'm proud of it, and that's the important part. But before we do that, let's take a look at the interiors. So let's start it with the church. Here's the church. This is actually a template that the same template from the same the guy who produced this tile set included a sample map using his tiles, and which is the same template I had based this town on. I have made a bunch of adjustments from that original map. There's like tiny little bits and pieces that like are reminiscent of it. Like this road structure that goes on the bottom is pretty much the same. Like if you overlaid the old version of the map on top of this, like those would match up 1-to-1. But I moved a bunch of stuff around. Like this, the original version of this map was, I think, 2 exiting roads, the eastern road and the western road, and the southern road went to just like a harbor section down here. And the northern road just didn't exist at all. Actually, the church, this exact model of church, was here, blocking where the middle of the road was. So a ton of adjustments went into taking the template that I had copied and making it into its own original identity. However, the church interior is almost one-to-one copy from the map. There was a second story to the church, so there were some stairs that led up to it here and here, but I removed those, and that's about the only change I made to this church. I've considered at least changing the floor tiles to something else, or maybe I could make it have a middle aisle and then 2 benches, like a bench and a bench and a bench with a middle aisle and then a bench and a bench and a bench. I could at least do that, and at least it would be slightly different, but I don't know. It's functional as is, and that's fine with me. This NPC is, I would say, 70% complete. He serves an important function for the player, and his like introductory dialogue is finished, and then his role for the player plays an important role as the player levels up. And so for, I would say, the first 2 milestones in the player's level have been completed, but I still need to do the final milestone. No, that's not right. Half of the second milestone is completed, but I still need to fill out some of the dialogue and options for the second milestone. And then the third milestone, and the third and last milestone, has not at all been started at all. So he still has some more work to go. So yeah, anyways, that's complete. We'll go over to the inn. This inn is also, like all of the, almost all of these interiors are based off of a template. And this was based off the template inn, but I did make some adjustments because I think the original template, like, maybe stopped here. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly where. And none of this side room existed. I think that's how it was. And so I added a little bit more to it, added was this here? I don't remember. I I think this was here originally. I know for sure I added this side room. Um, Move some stuff around. So like this in maybe reminiscent of the template that I copied, but is for the most part an original design. A lot of the eventing still needs to be completed in this area. Like the NPCs exist, this guy exists, but as you can see, there's nothing attached to him other than a comment. And that comment is actually trying to remind me of a possible solution to a bug that I'm having with him. I'll show that off later after we go through all the interiors. She doesn't have anything done yet, nothing at all. And there are events, but they don't really do anything. This one actually just transfers you to the second floor. So here's the second floor, and there's not really going to be anything up here. There is kind of a quest to get this chest, so I've kind of pre-planned some of the stuff for that quest, like obviously setting up the chest in the room and the door. So that's all there. And that's really all that's been done for that quest. Like I haven't even set up the conditions to actually even start or complete that quest. So as it is now in the game, you can't even really do the quest. So it's really just an outline, I guess you could say. These events next to the beds just basically are activated. If you try to activate the bed, Fiddle will just say, I don't want to sleep in someone else's bed. That's really all it is. So anyways, yeah, that's the church and the inn and the inn second floor. Now we can go over to the library. The library's been filled out as well. There's this guy here. He does have some dialogue that's been implemented, and again, I'll show that off when we are like playtesting the map. Otherwise, there's not really a lot going on here. There is a transfer to a second floor. However, I don't really feel like there's any need for a second floor. So actually that dialogue that I was just talking about that he has is related to the player attempting to go to the second floor. And again, like I said, I'll show that off whenever we play test it. But for now, let's just kind of look at the rooms so far. So here's the shop. It is the most barren. Actually, from this point forward, I think all of these are pretty barren. Oh, the library, I should mention. The library was not based off of any sort of template because there was no library. none of the... well, there might have been a library in one of the... There's a lot of different towns that came with the sample map for this tile set. There's a bunch of different towns, and I didn't check all of them to see if there might have been a library there. But the town that I pulled most of these templates from didn't have a library, so I just had to build the library myself. So this one is completely original. But I loosely based it off of the inn's design, actually. So I guess in that sense, it's based off the inn, but I had to make such radical changes that, I don't know, it's not even a template anymore. So anyways, shop... this one was based off of a shop template. I think I just expanded the left and right side a little bit, but otherwise it was mostly kept the same. I should say, actually, that's also kind of misleading, is the doodads, I guess you could say, all the decorations and stuff like that. I completely wiped out all the decorations in every single temple. No, the houses, which we'll get to next, I just left their doodads the same. But... the church... Nope, never mind. The inn, the library, and the shop. That's what I'm trying to say. The inn, the library, and the shop had all of their doodads wiped out and replaced. And doodads are like, like here we have the shelves and the aisles and the boxes and stuff like that. Like all of that I had to put down myself. So yes, the inn, and of course the inn second floor, the library, and the shop, all of those had their doodads replaced. The church largely stayed the same, like I said, other than removing the stairs. And then there are the houses. the blue house and red house, as you see labeled in my hierarchy here, which you might not be able to see because it's so small. But this one, which you can see the blue bar, and this one are the blue and red house. And so the blue house and red house both are copied from the template and are left almost entirely untouched. I changed some of the coloring in the room, like I replaced the floor tiles throughout it. But other than that, I think that's the only thing that I changed. Same thing goes for the red house. Again, changed the floor tiling, but all the doodads and stuff pretty much stayed the same. So, yeah. So both of these right now have nothing in them other than, there's the transfer to go outside. All of them have this event here, have this exact same event, and this event, all it is adjusting the lighting. So that's all that is. So then last, that leaves the abandoned house. This one I actually had to change the tile set. So when entering here, it changes to a different tile set. So I could create the abandoned house. And obviously, there was no abandoned house preset. So, or template, whatever you want to call it. So obviously I had to make this one as well. So there you have it. Those are all the interiors. So yeah, now we can take a look at the NPCs. So let me go ahead and set Fiddle to starting position to just right here outside the inn. And we'll launch the game. So, yeah. Also, there's this tinting that's in place now, and I'll show off how that works in just a moment, like what this tinting is. It is relevant. We'll get back to that. Let's start with the inn, since I'm right next to it. So you can see the NPCs kind of wander around. And now if you want to talk to the front desk, here's the bug that I was trying to talk about. If you talk to him when he's right here, he does this. And he doesn't actually do... Oh, there it goes. There it goes. See, he just goes wandering off somewhere for some reason. And then wanders back, and like he does all this stuff. Like I don't know, man. I got to figure out what's. I mean, I kind of have an idea of how this is happening, but I don't know how to stop it from happening. That's the thing. Like I know what's causing the bug, but I don't know how to fix the bug. If that makes sense. A short explanation is he has his own auto-pathing AI set. So this NPC right here just wanders in a set route. When you go here, where I'm standing now, and activate, it's an entirely different event that is now controlling this NPC. And what's happening is this event is telling him to have this path, but the NPC event itself has its own AI path, and so they're like at conflict with each other. So this event that activates him to move in front of the desk tells him, move this way, look at me. But then the NPC himself has a pathing that says wander left and right, this section. And I've played around with different things to try to get him to like work the way that I want, and it just it's an RPG Maker thing, so I don't know what to say. Like I said, she doesn't have any dialogue or anything, so that's everything now. He's gonna be borked for the remainder of while I'm in here, but he'll reset when I exit and go back in. But not worth showing that. So we'll go here to the church, and he'll have some dialogue. I don't really want to show off any of the dialogue in the game right now until the game is finished. I don't plan on working on too much dialogue so like during these streams I don't know if I'm going to work on dialogue, and that's one of the reasons why I wasn't really entirely sure what to do during this stream, is because it's like, well, right now I'm working on a lot of NPC dialogue and stuff, but I don't want to stream that, so I don't know what am I gonna do during this stream. I will show off I told you there's the girl at the park in the southern part of the town, and then also this guy's dialogue here when trying to access the second floor. I can show those off. It's not a big deal to me. So if you attempt to go to the second floor, here's what happens. He shouts to you to stop. He rushes over. The books upstairs are not appropriate for kids. He pushes you out of the way. Please only browse the books on this floor. And then he wanders back. And I've done some troubleshooting as well, and have successfully, I think, got him to react appropriately. Like, you can move around while he's going back, but if you go here, anytime you go here, he's going to just trigger the same thing. And believe me, I had some weird behaviors getting him to always land right at this square where I'm standing and looking at the player in different edge cases. Like if the player went here, went to the dialogue, blah, 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 and then activated him again, sometimes you would just, fire off into space. So I accounted for these weird edge spaces and have got him to work appropriately. So, yeah. So there's that. There's not really any other NPCs or stuff to show off because, like I said, there's nothing in the shop right now. I guess I can show off this. All it is, like I said, I don't want the player to access it, so Fiddle just says the door is locked. It looks like the sign next to the door says it's for sale, but I don't even know what a mortgage is, so I don't think I can buy it. So that's it. Did a bug just... A bug just flew into my drink. Come on, man. I'll be right back. Dumbass fucking bugs. Have to keep my lemon tree inside. But apparently there's some little gnats or something that have set up their home in the soil. They're not harming the lemon tree. They just... my new friends, I guess. There's not many of them. Their colony has seemed to have died down. Actually, they were there last year. They set up their colony. And last year, I got so sick of it that I was just like, fine, lemon tree can go fucking freeze outside. This year, I guess their colony still existed, but is much smaller, has been a lot more tolerable, but rare once in a while, one of them pops out and I guess decides to dunk themselves into my drink. So anyways, yeah, that's all she says there. So, I guess there's no reason to show the other house. I guess I can show the abandoned house. It's a little bit different. There's not a lot going on right now. I have plans for it later. But for the time being, all you can really do is come in here and jump. There is an event right here, but activating it does nothing. So, yeah. So that hasn't been scripted out yet. So all you can really do is just jump. So, yep, that's it. So just leave. And then we'll go to this lady here. So you also get to see some special dialogue that exists with her, but players will likely never be able to see because she checks a variable. What she does is she'll tell you about exactly what it says here. If I had to rate how happy the folks are on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's a 0. So right now, the game is in a initializing state, I guess you'd say, where the game proper hasn't been set. So this would be like sort of the tutorial, I guess you'd say. And the way that I have this planned is that you should not be able to access this character during that that time. So you normally wouldn't see this dialogue, but I guess I've gone ahead and accounted for in weird edge case if someone somehow manages to break out of my tutorial and comes across her. She'll just say, "That's so low, it's not even on my scale." And I'm thinking from this point forward, what she says here, they might not show it, but they're probably feeling really sad, and everything she says after this point will probably be the same for rank 1. If, you know, she say on a scale of 1 to 10, so at 1, she'd probably just say this. I might have already implemented that too. We'll check it in just a moment. Hey, that's my name. Don't bring me to them. Bring them happiness. So yeah, anyways. So her role as the NPC in this game is to inform the player of the town's rating. The way I have this currently set up, so the game will check the town rating. I haven't implemented any of the, if you remember, let's switch back over to RPG Maker here. If you remember in the sandbox, I showed this last time, I have all this trash and shit just like thrown everywhere, where picking it up will slowly rank up your town. This is going to spam the ever-living shit out of my event list, and if you've ever used RPG Maker, if you're ever trying to control events, let's just say, for example, I want to set a movement route for an event. So like I go here, set movement route, and then I have to select it from a drop-down list. And as you'll see, the more events you have, the more of a nightmare this fucking drop-down list becomes. This is fucking annoying to have to navigate. So, I have no intention of adding this trash into my town until everything else has been implemented, or hopefully mostly everything else has been implemented. Because RPG Maker and its way of handling events is annoying. So anyways, what that means is right now I have this button set up. And I can push this button and it'll look like nothing has happened. And that's just because I've implemented what I think is a very lightweight method of checking the player's community happiness level. And that is to say, it only checks it the first time you enter the town. And then it deletes itself. The process that checks the current community happiness level runs through that process once, and then it deletes that process. And it will not create that process again until you re-enter the town. So, what you're going to see is I'm going to exit the town by entering the inn. And then I'm going to exit the inn and enter the town again. And you'll notice that the tint on the screen has changed. And the reason the tint has changed is because the town happiness has gone up. And I know it's a little bit subtle. I've definitely going from 0 to 1 is a pretty big difference. But going from 1 to 2 to 3, the change in the tint is going to be a lot more incremental. So it may not be quite so obvious. And that's because, again, 0, the town happiness of 0 is sort of an initializing state, the tutorial state of the game. So, yeah, it has a different tint for a story reason. I think the plan is that the player is going to arrive at the town in night, so it kind of has this nighttime filter on it. So, anyways, I can prove that that's changed because that's what her role is here. Now, if we talk to her, if I had to rate how happy the folks are on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 1. So see, now it's changed from 0 to 1. So she will just tell you, oh yeah, and see, I've implemented the dialogue already. So she basically says the same thing as 0, except without the very first line, which was like, that's not even on my scale. So she doesn't say that line, but everything else is exactly the same. Yeah, so she says, hey, that's my name, blah, blah, blah. So, oh no, I didn't mean the doctor again. Okay, anyways, so yeah, that's her role in this game, is that obviously there's not going to be any sort of menu option in here. I also kind of don't like that menu option. It makes it too present in the player's mind. Like, I don't want it to feel like a big forward, like I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't want this thing to be like, whoa, your town leveled up, congratulations, with fireworks and shit like that. Like, no, I want it really to kind of be like this subtle kind of thing that's happening in the background, right? So, not only do I not want it to be, like, this big obvious thing in the menu, but I kind of like integrating an NPC as a method of just, this is a very subtle way of informing the player of, like, here's what your town is currently at. So we can activate this button again. All it does is automatically rank us up 1 rank. But again, it will not calculate that new rank until you have re-entered the town. So we'll exit, come back in, and there's a subtle change in the tint. You might have been able to notice it, but it was a little bit more subtle. And if we go back and talk to her, now she says it's 2. And I think I haven't changed any of the dialogue from here. So that's probably something else I need to do with her, is making sure that each rank's dialogue is going to be different. And the reason I haven't done that yet is because there are going to be, like, quests, I guess you could say, throughout town. And it's never going to be explicitly given to the player. Again, like, I purposefully do not want it to be told, like, I don't want that information to just, like, slap them across the face, like, there's a new quest available, right? So she's sort of going to be the one to kind of hint at possible quests for the player to check out. I've also I haven't decided yet, might make this bulletin board here into, like, another place where the player can find out about available quests as well. So I might not even draw any attention to it. Like, it might just be like, if the players are curious, they see that board, they decide to try to talk to it, and they realize, oh, hey, there's stuff posted here. I don't know. I'm not completely sure how I want to do that yet. So anyways, we'll rank it up a few more times. You can just see the city change as the tint changes. And that's maybe the last rank. I'm not sure. We'll do it one more time just in case. Yeah, pretty sure that's the last rank. And so you can see that it's much brighter, much warmer. So yeah, as it ranks up, the town's vibrancy also warms up. Okay, so currently it's at a 9, so it's not maxed out yet. And yeah, she doesn't have any extra dialogue. I haven't implemented any extra dialogue for these other ranks yet. Because, like I said, I would like the dialogue to somewhat hint towards the player of, like, where a quest is for what they can do. There we go. Now it's maxed out. It definitely looks like it. It's very warm and saturated now. So, yeah. Yep. There we go. So that's what that NPC does. And so that's everything that I've done in the town so far. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't show off the church guy. I don't want to show off his dialogue because it's kind of important. There's some other dialogue as well. I want to go ahead and switch over to this part of the map, which is where we'd started the stream with. This map obviously didn't take a lot of time to lay out. It's not completely finished yet. This is kind of what I was thinking I would work on today. So, but yeah, this map didn't take a lot of time to lay out necessarily, but there is a lot of dialogue here with this controlling event right here. And I'm not going to show off that event in its entirety. However, I do want to show off this area. So you will get to see part of it, and you'll get to kind of see the exciting start of the game, because this is the very first map that the player will start at. If you had played the previous game and finished it, you'll understand why the player starts here. So, Yeah, so we'll start the player basically. The player basically starts off where the game had left off, the previous game had left off. So, when we start a new game, this is the sequence that happens. Fortunately, I have a system in here that allows me to skip most of the dialogue. So it starts. When you start a new game, asks, before we begin, I'd like to ask you some questions. Did you play Fidel? I just said Fidel, huh? Even I do it sometimes. Fiddle and the Maker's Trial. In this case, I don't want to show off any of the extra dialogue. So the secret sauce here, which will be available to all the players, is saying no. And then it'll ask, in that case, would you like to hear a recap on the story so far? It's pretty short, so I won't take up too much of your time. So the secret sauce, again, is to not show off too much dialogue, is to just say no. Look at that title. And there we have it. Now we're into the game. And there's a little tutorial here. So you'll walk over here. There's this dialogue too. I forgot about that. I don't mind doing some of this dialogue. It doesn't really like give away any of the story or anything like that. It's all fairly basic stuff, so it's fine. I'll probably do some of this in this stream, maybe. How long have I been just talking about my game so far? At 36 minutes? Basically 40 minutes? Alright. So, now there's a little tutorial here. So, here it just says, when you're near a gap, press the action key to jump. So, that's just telling you that you can push space. Can you push E? No. So anyways, you can push space. I think enter works. Yeah. So anyways, so that's just introducing the new jump mechanics, especially if you were coming from the previous game. Then you might be used to the way that I'd handled jumping in the previous game, which was basically very automatic. It's still... the previous version was 100% automatic, I should say. This version is still fairly automatic, as in you don't really control where you jump. Like you can see right now, Fiddle is looking to the left, but if I push space, she still jumps north. So it's still fairly automatic in this game. However, previously it was as soon as you stepped on the appropriate tile to jump. Like if I stepped to the left right now, in the old game, the jump would happen automatically. I'd basically go here and jump, just like that. But now, so I have the tutorial there, so especially for the people who are coming from the previous game, will learn that the new jump mechanics are as follows. Is now you have to actually press the action key to jump. It's not perfect because as I just demonstrated here, you can only set one jump direction, right? So if I wanted the player to be able to jump back and forth like here, I have to assign effectively the opposite. So there's, on the tile I'm standing on now, there's a jump to the east pad right here. And then the pad that I land on, there's a jump, sorry, I have that backwards, jump to the west. And then on the pad that I land on, there's a jump to the east. So that's effectively what's happening here. However, since there can only be one jump per tile, that means situations like this wind up happening where I can jump. Now, what if I want to jump back? Well, you can't do that on this tile because this tile has been assigned to jump south. So, weird situations like that happen. It's not perfect. I wish I could come up with a better jump solution, but the way that I'm thinking that this game will go is there's going to be a lot less focusing on the jumping stuff, so it's probably not super important, but whatever. Anyways, so from this point forward in the game, there's not really anything planned to be here. um, other than just the occasional dialogue that'll pop up, which we'll work on in just a minute. And it's just going to be the player moving deeper into this area until we arrive to these stairs. There's nothing to see right now. There's the crystal up here, but activating it has nothing tied to it right now. But the idea is that a scripted event will happen, a big serious story event will happen that will kind of set into motion the story for this game, which I have some ideas of like how I wanted to play out already. I would love to work on it, but again, like I don't want to do too much of the story stuff on stream. I'd rather leave that for you to experience yourself. So yeah, I guess in a way you could say that this game has more story in it than the previous game. I mean, the previous game was pretty light on story, so there's definitely more story in it. But I guess I should say that there's a slightly more higher focus on the story. I don't want to make it sound like it is a story-focused game, because it's definitely not that. It's not a story-focused game. It's it just has more dialogue, I guess I should say. So I'm taking the same approach to the story in this game as I did in the previous one, where in the previous one I basically just wrote the story as I went along. Like, I would write some dialogue and try to feel within me where would that dialogue go next, right? Just kind of on the spot story writing, you know. It's more or less going to be the same in this game as just on the spot story writing, because the focus is not the story. However, there is I guess, a broad idea of how I want it to go. So it's not a complete blank slate. It's kind of like a mostly blank slate with a few dotted lines scattered in there, if that makes sense. So that's the plan, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, with those 40 minutes that I just spent during this live stream, that has covered everything that I've done in this game since last time I streamed. And so what I would like to do next is just get some of that, like this event here is that someone I hear has another soul finally come to this same godforsaken realm. If you can read me, come closer. I want more similar dialogue like that, just basically thrown throughout this level as the player approaches the staircase here. So that's what we'll do. You'll have to forgive me from this point forward as well. This is another reason why I didn't really want to do dialogue on stream, is because it's kind of tough to write dialogue and talk at the same time. So it's hard to be an entertaining streamer while also just focusing on writing at the same time. So it may get boring from this point forward. I don't know, but we're gonna do our best here. Yeah. So I don't want to spam it too much, but I do want the next one to be soon. So I think here's a good spot. So when the player reaches here, we'll just swap out some of this text. What do we want the... So I think this would also, like, one of the things is that it'll, I guess, kind of be a surprise is seeing the new, like, visual novel style, at least with the main character. I don't have any other pictures for the other actors, so it's only the main character that gets, like the visual novel style character bust. But this is a good chance to introduce that new dialogue system, I guess you could say. That new what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, I just had it on the tip of my tongue and it's gone. Whatever. This new method of delivering dialogue. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that. So with that, we want her on the upper right. Why is it upper left? Why did I use? Oh, this is just for copying pasting purposes, but yeah, this. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll go here. We'll paste that there. And this will be /name fiddle. Should say. Like that. What picture is it? Yep, that's fine. I think. Yes. That one's fine. I don't know if I'm really feeling the dialogue, but whatever. Maybe I'll revise it later. One thing I want to do is get the tint as well, which I think I can copy just from any of the times that she's popped up. It doesn't matter where she is. So, like this one. So that should be fine. Let's make sure that we set this to dialogue 2. It's not necessary that I do that, but just keeps shit organized. I need to disable this start, actually, because I don't want to have to go through this every fucking time. Okay. So the first dialogue. Oops. Jump across. Jump across. Oh, I forgot to erase the picture. Oops. Also, I think I want to change... Yeah. That. And then erase picture. 1. There. Just trying to think. I'm not really feeling the dialogue. And I'm not really feeling like doing the dialogue either. And just like last time I streamed, I actually had a pretty busy day today. My Saturdays might be pretty busy from now on, which may mean I need to adjust my streaming schedule. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm tired. And I'm not feeling the dialogue. I'm glad I was able to... I think what I want to do, at least going forward, is that I do enjoy going through and talking about all the changes and stuff, all the work that I've done over the past week. And I may continue doing that going forward. And that's maybe what I just limit these streams to, is I kind of prefer working alone, not on stream. Usually I'll put on some sort of background noise or something that I can't do that while I'm streaming. And so I kind of just prefer just, working by myself. And then at the end of the week, if I can spend 40 minutes getting you guys caught up on all the changes I've made, I think that's pretty good, actually. It's a 40-minute long video to kind of just go over all the changes so you can see the progress that I've made. If I feel like doing some work, then maybe I'll include that in the stream as well. But I think... especially with how busy my Saturdays have been and how they will probably continue to be busy going forward, that I think it's better to just say that my streams will just be sort of getting you guys caught up, and you shouldn't count on there being like me streaming for a long time and telling you guys about or doing a lot of work on the project, because like I said, I think I prefer doing that by myself. So what I'm saying is, even though I've only streamed for under an hour, and basically did very little work, we just added this single bit of dialogue here, I think I'm already gonna say I'm done streaming for the night. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I've noticed that some of my stream archives have been getting reasonable views. More views than I expected. It's not a lot. I never get a lot of views. But it is more views than I expected. So I guess there definitely are some of you who are watching these stream archives. I don't know if you stick around for the whole thing. If you do, thanks. Definitely appreciate you guys watching stream archives. I've been thinking about streaming in the morning as well. Like, I've been thinking about my stream schedule. And if I stream in the morning, it's probably going to be a lot easier for some of my folks in the West, in the real world, in the freedom world, to be able to join these streams. So maybe I'll make that adjustment. I don't know yet. That's up in the air. But either way, for now, most of you guys watch through the archive, and definitely appreciate that. So thank you guys very much, and I'll stream again next week. Go check out my previous game. I just updated it today. Go do it. itch.io/ wait, what is it? /Nolan Alighieri? Probably. No, it's nolanallighieri.itch.io. There we go. And you will find Fiddle and the Maker's Child there. So go do it.